Exeter here. Today I'm going to be looking at quite a few slightly easier modules in this episode of tutorials. Yeah. You can see
all available experts,
here,
please report to room 89.
Let's start off with this. This is H. If you could probably tell that from what it looks like. This one's very basic. That you could easily do it without the manual open. So what you first have to do is count how many H's there are, not including the large H in the middle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You then take the letter in the alphabet that's in this position. So the 16th letter alphabet is P. So as you can see here, you have to input P in Morse code. So you hold the status light up here. It'll make one noise for a dot, and if you want to do a dash, wait for the second noise to appear. So P will be one noise, two noise, two noise, one noise. And there we go. It's a module or HH. Yeah. It's GG, but H is yes. Okay, next one, another one I don't have manual for. This is sequences. Not abstract sequences or dual sequences, this is regular sequences. So this is going to be a linear sequence. As you can see, we don't have any squares or logs or anything. So all you have to do is you work out what the common... You might have done it in school that you first work out what the common difference is. You just basically do that by taking the second term and subtracting the previous term.
Emergency cleared. All personnel, please return to your stations.
148 minus, remember, minus for this. So you'll take away the entire quantity of the previous one. If you want to do why you could hear a 2-factor right now, I'll get to that in a minute. So the common difference is negative 60. You put the n here. Now we have to work out, because if you substitute 1 here, you'll get negative 60, but that's not negative 88. So what you have to do is work out how much you have to take away from that, or add to that, to get to the first number, which we can see is taking away another 28. And then you press the submit button to submit. And that's all it is. Just figure out what linear sequence is referring to. So this next module is called Widgetry. This is why you can hear the 2-factor, because it's up here. So in addition to this edge work up here, this also counts as edge work. So this counts as another D battery. This is a encrypted indicator, which you might have seen on the workshop, and this is a 2-factor. 2 factors on the bottom are normally red text, but this still counts as a valid 2-factor. But you might ask, how do you solve this if it's just edge work? Well, as we can see here, a Widgetry module has 3 widgets and 2 buttons. This widget will be treated for all modules as though they're on the edge of the bomb, so as if they were here. So to solve it, if this module has at least one indicator, which it does, this is widget B. So it might not be an encrypted indicator, it might be a multi-port plate with any amount of multi-ports, if I recall correctly, or the voltage meter. And the last one would be either be an extra battery, or batteries possibly. An extra port plate with vanilla ports, and a vanilla indicator. The widget A will always be a 2-factor. That won't change. So if the module has at least one indicator, it does. It is a what's it, so we're pressing the W button. If it didn't, it's a doodad, so we will pray for the other one. That's what you had to do for this one. Okay, note it's self-sound as well. Okay, next one is similar to sequences. It is line equations. So again, you'll figure out a linear equation, but you're getting given 2 points. So you have to know basic. You need to know how to do this. It's just right over run, or the change in the y coordinates, that'll be -88 minus 94. Is no minus here currently, over the change in the x coordinates, which will be -45 minus 62. Sometimes the through calculator can give you different numbers, so I'm going to do it on a calculator I have in front of me, but I will elaborate on what I get hit. Okay, so what it ends up being is 182 over 107, which rounds, would give us 1.70093 and so on. Now, if we look on the manual page, which has a nice, lovely background, after you find the gradient of the line, first we're going to use this value to work out, if you remember y equals mx plus c, what we just worked out up here is what m is. Well, not exactly what we're going to be typing into the module, but you'll find out. We need to find c, so you build algebra. C is going to be, you just select one of the y values and take away its corresponding x value times what you got for m. So let's use the positive one. So this will turn into 94 minus the m we have times the 62. And when I do that, we get negative 1226 over 107, which becomes negative 11.4579 for Yes, that bing noise is going to happen every time, yes. That's just how two factors work. Okay, so now we have these two numbers. We're not going to be submitting the entire decimal expansion of them. As you can see, round both the gradient and the y-intercept of the line to 3 decimal places, dropping trailing zeros. So we're going to round it here. So this, remember, since this is greater than 5, or it's 5 or greater, we're going to round it up to a 1 at the end here. So this is our first one. Press the X, and we can press the minus because we know this next one's negative, and then do the same here. Minus 7 point, and since this is 9 again, we round this up by 1 and remove everything else. So it's going to be minus 11.458. And then you press the tick, and it sells the module. When it says drop trailing zeros, if this ended up being 1.700, you just put 1.7. You can actually get whole numbers on this, but you don't get it very often. Okay, next one is one that I weirdly enjoy. I don't know why, but it's IKEA Documents. So this might seem like a nightmare with 1 hour, 174 pages, but you can limit to how much looking you have to do by, normally you can see what it looks like. So if you click on one and the product does not look like that, you can easily just go back to the top. A button will appear down here to help you with that until you find one that could potentially be the correct IKEA product. So this is too small. This doesn't have a back to it. This one isn't it. Okay, Flea Star might be it. So let's scroll down to where step 14 is. And as you can see here, that is the same one. We've got the 4 in the speech bubble inside the eye box. We have the arrow pointing at the bottom part, the 6 screws. This is a match, so we see what one we picked, Fleester. We use these buttons to find that name, and then we click the name to submit. Reload. Oh, it seems that we got unlucky here. Since these numbers down here aren't an exact match. Apologies for this. It might be the Kallax instead. Yes. I've never seen this case before, to be honest, but this is a very ambiguous one. So it turns out this is actually the Kallax, and again, press it to solve it. Apologies for that strike. They just look very similar, and I didn't expect that to happen right now. Okay. So the next one we're going to be looking at is White Button. You might be saying this doesn't look like White Button that I remember. It's because it recently got changed, and it's now a lot easier than it used to be. So first we find these 2 colours. Orchid is 102, and Amethyst, which is 202. And now we calculate the difference between them. So this is +1, nothing. You can't get +2. If it's +2, you actually have to subtract 1, and it loops back round. So say you had 0 and it became 2. You wouldn't add 2, you would subtract 1 and loop back round to 2. So how do you submit this into it? So first you have to create a reference time. A good one is roughly 2 seconds. So this is timer ticks, by the way. And now, if you want to submit a plus, you go higher than your reference number. If you want to submit a minus, you go lower than your reference number. So that's why I would suggest not do 4, because as you see here, holding a button for at least 4 timer ticks will reset your input. So if you picked 3, you can't go higher than that. So you can pick 3 if everything is smaller than it. And then 0 is you hold it again for 2. So for this one, let's hold it for 3. And it submits a plus. And then we had to hold it for 2 seconds each, these second 2. Submits a 0. And so it's a module. You effectively try to work out, in terms of plus, zeros, or minuses, how to get from colour A, which is always on the left, to colour B, which is always on the right. That's nice, a simple module. Up next we have the Time Machine. This one requires you to use your calendar and your computer, possibly. So you can see these sort of fluorescent tubes. It says the least significant digit is at the top here, going clockwise, or in other words, the left one is the most significant, go counterclockwise. And the two records are red and white. So the binary for this will be 1 for the red here, be 1 because it's here, 0 0 because it's not here, and then 1 again because pink is both of them. So we can say the red is 1 0 0 1, and then white is 0 because not the first one, and 0 because it was black, and then 1 1 because white is in white and white is in pink. Red and white get combined to make pink, or both being X to make black. Okay, so the white, I technically did this back to front, but the white is going to be the tens digit, which converting that into the base 10 gives you your 3, and then the top one is 8 plus 1, which is 9, and then use this table, so we highlight 3 for the first one and 9 for the second one. So the condition is Halloween must fall on today's weekday. You can either get given a specific day or a range, or today. So today is April on a Sunday. You don't actually need to know the month, it's just... So we're looking for a year, apart from this year, the Halloween falls on this weekday. So this is 2021 had Halloween on a Sunday. So we've already found that one. So you can see this light cycling round. If it's a red light, it means subtract that many years from today's year. Green means add that many years from today's year. So we're going to be waiting for a -1, which is a red one, which is when this light lights up. You press this button to tell them when that appears. And you select the module. You did have very loud sound effect. You select the module when you pick a year to go back or forwards by, to fulfill whatever condition you have down here. And the last module I'm going to go over for this tutorial video is a more recent one, is Mini. This is one of two of Mini and Wombo. Wombo is actually currently a manual challenge, so I can't do a tutorial for it right now, but I can do one for Mini. It will activate as soon as I interact with it. This is why I haven't clicked on it yet. So a panel will open. We find that panel, which is down here. The dial. If you start here, press the dial center. So it doesn't matter for all of these. If it appears first, you don't have to do any work. You can just press the button. And then remember where you were. So next to the switches, we follow the arrow that connects the current box to the new box. So we follow this arrow here, and this gives us the answer for the next one, which is the bottom left switch. These are top, these are bottom. So we flip the bottom left switch. That one closes. Go to arrows. So it's from this circle to this circle. We had to press the arrow that points right. The A here stands for all directions, so it's this orange one here. But it's talking about the button that's pointing right, not the button on the right. So this is one pointing right, so click it. Okay, next one. We have wires. So you were going, how do I get up here? These little oval shapes are portals. So you actually go up here through the portal and get to up here. This is telling us cut wire 4. Nice and simple. Buttons. Go up across here. Press the Y button. This is just colours. K standing for black or key. The letters on those buttons don't actually mean anything. And then finally, the keypad. This is telling us to press a button in the range of F to J. That includes F and J, so we press F here. And we select the module, and you get that ticker tape. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you now understand how to do some of these slightly more easy modules, and I still apologise for the strike. That was a very unlucky case for IKEA Documents. But anyway, hope you understood the modules in this video, and I will see you in the next one.